Hi everyone, it's Jen again. My mouth is not going to sync with the audio because for some reason my microphone was on mute the first time I recorded this, so I apologize for that kind of uncanny look that it's going to have. I'm sorry, I just don't really feel like capturing all this footage again. I'm a little bit tired from this weekend, and I have been troubleshooting one particular bug like for hours because for whatever reason I just could not find what was wrong, and it was driving me nuts, and I finally found it and I can finally move on with the rest of Mission 8 development after deciding that I was going to just add warfare. So originally there was going to be some beast encounters that were going to happen in the forest, and you were gonna have to fight Jonas as a boss fight, and instead I just decided to make it a warfare campaign against beasts. So now there's going to be a total of 3 wars in the game, and I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out, actually. The reason why that bug was just kind of a thorn in my side was because in my programming I reuse a lot of the scripts for the warfare system, but then I have some files that are unique to the war itself, which is mainly like these dialogue bits in between waves of battle, as well as the background queuing up and the kind of little quips that the characters make right before the start of every battle. So you can kind of see in here that I've got a folder that has these general warfare scripts that are used for like the deployment system and everything, and evaluating like who won the wave and how many what waves we're at, how many waves we're at. And then I have like this chapter folder of Mission 8 that has like unique scripts that are mainly like the dialogue bits in relation to like the story and which characters are being deployed, and then I have one for Mission 6 as well. And for whatever reason, the little quips between battles kept on going to the Mission 6 dialogue, and it was like this one little conditional that was like misplaced and was missing a parameter, and I was staring at this file for so many times, for so long, and for whatever reason I just couldn't follow. I couldn't find where the logic was missing, and so I kept like trying to change all these other places in the game to try to fix it, and once I finally realized what I was missing, I felt really dumb, and I was able to fix it like very quickly, and then I did go back and play through Mission 6 to make sure that I didn't break that in the process. I tend to develop around thinking that I need to just test the current chapter that I'm on, but I try to remember that it's possible that somebody might be starting the game from the beginning and I might have accidentally broken something earlier. So yeah, the warfare is pretty much the same as it was in Mission 6, except for now we have beasts, so we have that added frenzy mechanic, as well as the factions kind of being wherever they want. Jonas is a humanoid character, so he does follow the rules of being a human character, where he can only be in the middle or rear row for a priest position, and he also does not frenzy. But you can see that the other beasts are kind of wherever they want as far as positionally goes, and usually when I am kind of deciding how I'm going to counter this enemy party, I will first look and see what I can exploit as far as like any doubling up on weaknesses. So if we have like 2 green units here, 2 earth units, and then we also have like 2 of the same faction, then that is what I will prioritize, especially at this difficulty when you have like multipliers on the faction and element bonuses. It'll be more important whenever there's like 2 of one element and 2 of one faction to prioritize exploiting those weaknesses over using the elite units with their superior bonds and their superior their ultimate morale abilities now, for the most part. Most of the waves will have kind of one of these like tri-element, faction type arrangements that are more difficult to counter, especially at higher difficulties when they have a higher enemy bonus, because you don't have those double weaknesses to exploit. And I will usually more rely on the elite units in that type of situation, where I might prioritize putting an elite with a certain skill in there over having the most optimal party arrangement for countering. So let's see, with this first party, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I've got a knight in there, and going to definitely put some air units, probably mono air in here, and let's see. I've got to make sure I counter everything so that I don't get any frenzied enemies. Maybe I will put Ruin in there. Just because he doesn't really get penalized as far as there's no water units there. I think he'll be okay. And then I don't really want to go priest because of those two rogues, but I don't really want to go. I really have to have a priest to counter that mage. And let's see, in this 3 different elements, the one that's missing is water, so fire will be my best counter. Because I don't have to worry about any water units canceling out any of my bonuses. So I am going to move Ruin over there after all. Plus, if I get really bad enemy bonuses, then I can rely on his retaliation plus burn to help give me a little bit of advantage. Now, one thing about these more difficult arrangements is that because this is not randomized in the warfare, I limit it to only having like 1 out of the 3 battles be kind of like this more difficult arrangement, just to give the player a chance to have a little bit more challenge without penalizing them too much, because you just have to win 2 out of 3. Winning 3 out of 3, you get a little bit of extra dialogue of the characters praising you, but you won't have to like sit through a game over and start over, you know, if I were to make them all kind of scale in that difficulty.
Let's enjoy a fair match.
And this warfare is kind of scaled to assume that the player has their units mostly at bond level 4, and possibly, you know, several units at bond level 6 would be recommended. Lucky. It would be good to get your common units up to bond level 4 as well, especially since air units and fire units, you don't have as many elite options.
Let's roll.
You better run while you can.
Oh yeah, taking a look at our bonuses here. We're gonna use burn and hope that retaliation, the firewall hits.
Double bonus.
Triple bonus is good. Get us in the lead. Because even if he does kill with retaliation, if we die at the same time, the round will go to the enemy. And we did it.
This is justice.
Oh, and yeah, this is where I ran into an error because I, for whatever reason, decided to put music play, I think it said play music. I'm looking at my footage and I can't quite read it because like the thumb is very small, but yeah, I basically just switched up 2 words. And those sort of bugs are pretty easy to find, and I'm kind of surprised at how often I still make those kind of mistakes.
Quite interesting.
We've got new voice lines with Jonas, and we've got new boss battle music. My friend Carrie wrote. I'm pretty excited about being able to implement those.
Let's roll.
You're in for a treat.
And for whatever reason, I thought that serpent was a mage, because I put a priest in there. to counter what I thought was a mage, but it's not a mage. It's a knight. I don't know what I was thinking when I was doing that. But thankfully, frenzied serpents are one of the least threatening. Now, Jonas is going to scale in difficulty every round when he uses his skill. So we want to try to finish him off early before he starts getting too strong.
Just for you,
That's what I have Basil in here for, to hopefully use her ultimate to do a big chunky amount of damage.
Not too late to turn this around. I see through these little ploys.
Double bonus.
Not as big damage as I was hoping for.
Ignite our spirits. Double bonus.
We don't want to use all our mana because his skill is actually has two aspects.
Just for you,
so one is like a buff at the beginning,
This
and then
it's all according to plan.
Not
his
too late to turn
other
this around.
property of his skill
Double bonus.
is that he resurrects
Double bonus.
once per battle.
Who said you could rest?
So, yep, he went and he resurrected his team with 1 health,
Ignite our
but they
spirits.
are all frenzied, and he now has a higher bonus than we do, I believe. So we're going to try to use that mana that we were
Skill
saving
trigger.
And learn.
to finish
Not too
his
late to
off
turn
that
this
one
around.
hit point.
Double bonus. Triple bonus.
Which, unfortunately, they got a triple bonus, so they were very lucky.
Ignite our
Let's hope that we can finish him off this time. We just need to win 1 roll. Yay!
Whoa, lucky.
Didn't see that coming.
Beautiful.
Cursed luck.
I'm just gonna skip through some of this story and show you the new town that's also been implemented. Let's just skip through all that.
Transient one.
'Cause I don't have the town accessible to travel to yet. So it's just been scripted in here, but we have the same options that we've got at the other towns. Then we also have the Fort Shore, which right now I can't enter because I did put the conditional in there that you need to be at a certain point in the story. But most of that is also implemented, and the little locations in Fort Shore have their own artwork as well. We've got the shop that has its own set of daily unique items, so now you have 3 different locations that you can kind of try to find certain items at if you are still hunting for those items to create your pendants and rings. We have the tavern that has all the regular options that the tavern has, with like the gifting and the chatting with your companions, as well as like a daily wander option in order to like kind of just hear the local gossip and see what the locals think of the things that are happening in the story world, as well as like the effects of the main character's choices. With Fort Shore, it's very similar to the Merchants Guild in that there are like a bunch of little activities that you can do in them, including elections. Oh yeah, and Fort Shore, once it's unlocked, you'll also be able to sleep there. So the elections are going to be, the elections are going to be the player's opportunity to influence their god's favor in order to be able to kind of go down 3 separate routes for your endings and for the characters that you ally with in the final warfare. So that way, you know, the player can participate in the elections as much as they want to influence that God's favor score, to kind of, I guess, choose the route that they want. But the closer you are to your goal naturally through story choices, the less you have to participate in the elections and the less you have to spend money on bribing the electors. So Let's go ahead and start the election. So it has a little tutorial here when you enter and you have access to elections. We have to become a member, so you gotta pay the 10,000 gold. And then every day after having a sleep rest, you will have a new election that you can participate in. And the results of these elections, some of them will be reflected in the endings as well, and depending on whether or not you participate can also affect how the election turned out. And you can see that you can increase the amount of God's favor points or decrease the amount of God's favor points even more than one, depending on how much of an investment that you put into it. So again, this is all to affect your overall God's favor score and be able to basically guarantee that you can go the route that you choose, even if your, I guess, player choices up to this point didn't perfectly align with your end goal. And I did it this way so that players would be able to go and see all 3 endings from Chapter 8 save. So there are 5 total elections in Brookhaven and 5 total elections in Cape Town. Each one you can bribe up to 3 times, so you can get a total of 4 God's favor or minus 4 God's favor. And you just basically need to have 20 or higher for one route, between 11 and 19 for another route, and under 10 for another route. And you can go negative. That's totally fine as well. This shouldn't break the game or anything. I should probably double test it just to make sure. The higher and lower that you go in the direction that you are trying to get, you do get little passive bonuses from that as well. When the characters join you, they will have additional loyalty that will go towards their bonds, which will make less grinding for you. So either you can pay money, have less grinding, see any ending you want from one save file if you save it at mission 8. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything this week. And I'm looking forward to releasing this in a little bit, this upcoming week. And as always, don't forget to enjoy the process. Thanks for watching. Bye!